Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. It's football time in Oklahoma, and on today's podcast, Derek Morton from Norman, Oklahoma on with us, and we talk about Kyler Murray playing 2 more years at Oklahoma. That's right, 2. Oklahoma's number 5 ranking in the coaches poll, and we go through ESPN's Football Power Index for the Sooners game by game. Sooner football fans is not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility left. Boomer. Hey, Sooner football fans. This is the Sooner Football Fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer up.
Boomer Terry.
How we doing today, Rob?
Fantastic. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How was the weekend? Did you get any birdies in?
You know what? I binged on Game of Thrones all weekend long. Not one round of golf did I play. So
I didn't know you were a Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah, I typically I'm not much of a TV guy. I mean, with exception of sports.
Yeah.
But someone had put me on Game of Thrones, I don't know, a little while back, and I actually watched it all after the season was over. This last season that came out, I watched all the seasons up to the last season that came out, just in a record time or whatever. And then the season came out, and I watched all of it, and so now we're just waiting on the next season. But I went back and watched a few of the pretty good episodes that were.
Yeah, it's not as good as Breaking Bad, though.
Well, yeah, you're probably right. But
no,
it's
I'm
up
not.
there.
I'm not probably right. It's a fact.
Well, I'm not going to argue the Breaking Bad because I'm obviously a huge fan. But
well, I had a great weekend.
Yeah,
we went fiddling around on Saturday around town. Saturday night, went out to the casino, and for the second time in history, I won money at a casino.
What?
Yeah, I hit a jackpot for $3,150. So,
isn't there something in our contract where, like, I don't know, 10%?
yeah,
10%.
No, I have literally, Teresa loves to go out there. I hardly ever spend any money at a casino.
Right, I knew that.
The only time, if I'm just completely bored, one time I won about $700 at a blackjack table.
$3,000?
Yeah, and in like 15 minutes, and I was done, ready to go
I was
home.
getting ready to say, I bet you were done. I know I'd have been.
And they bring you cash. I did not realize they brought you cash. And they bring it out, and you sign all the paperwork, and they give you your tax form, and they just slap that money out right there in front of God and everybody.
Oh, isn't there a tax man that shows up and is like, hey, give me
No,
mine?
they give you a form. It's like your W-2, that you didn't pay taxes on it, and they just hand it to you, so you fill it, you report that with your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And you sign some paperwork, and they count your money out.
What happens if you don't report it?
I don't know. We may find out.
$3,000. So what do you got to pay on that?
I have no idea. I didn't look at it. I just
Better figure on about like 75% or something.
yeah. I just put it in my wallet and went and put it in the bank today, and
You suck.
so literally I have never won anything. Usually I'll go through whatever I have, $50, $100 in like 10 minutes. And I didn't even realize I hit a jackpot. If it wouldn't have been for all the bells and whistles, I couldn't even see how much I won. I just kind of was looking around, and I was like, yeah.
So what do you pull
$3,000.
You play the spinny game?
I was playing dollar slots.
Slot machine. That's it.
So I'm just not very.
You can tell how many times I've been in there.
I mean, normally if we go out there, I go sit in the bar and listen to a band, or I'll go in the other bar and watch some sports. But I just
When did you guys? I went out to the casino with that one time for that 80s thing.
Yeah, we couldn't get in.
Couldn't get in.
That was New Year's.
Yeah, I was going to try and slip the girl at the door like a 20 or something, but we never really got that opportunity. So.
No. They were sold out for the 80s New Year's. I think it was New Year's or Valentine's Day.
I don't know.
Something like that.
It was 80s something or other. And since 80s is the greatest generation there was.
Oh, of course we are. But on to Sooner football, though. It's official. Football season has started.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Sooners started practice on Fridays. on Friday.
Hey, I rode in the elevator today with Kyler Murray, by the way.
Oh, did you? Talk to him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ask him about the A's?
No, I just said, hey, can I feel your muscle?
Yeah. What?
No, I didn't. He's all decked out in Jumpman stuff, though.
Yeah.
All the way down to the little flip-flops they give him,
Did you ask him for a job?
No. No, because you know what? There's another kid on the team that looks a lot like him, and I really just could not tell if it was him or not.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I know what he looks like, but I'm telling you, there's another kid on campus, on the team, that looks a lot like him.
Huh. I did not know that.
And I just couldn't tell. So I just, generically said, hey, what's up, buddy? And give him a little pat on the shoulder. And, he's like 5'9" or something.
Yeah.
So.
Not a very big kid either.
Has
he put on some meat?
He's this kid. If it was Kyler, he has got some guns on him and shoulders. I mean, yeah, you could tell he's been pumping. And there were several of them actually, and you could tell that they had just come from practice and they were slick.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's a good thing, And I guess Friday and Saturday they did. Shorts, T-shirts, and helmets.
I've seen them.
And today they went into pads, shoulder pads, and I guess they do that for another day, and then they go into full pads, I'm thinking Wednesday. And that's when the cream starts rising to the top.
Well, I know there's a whole lot of people excited about it, but you can't go down there and watch it. So
no. If you stand on the street out there, they will come and mush you away.
Lincoln Riley will come and do a roundhouse on your head.
Which I don't, we were talking about that, how they can keep you from being on or across the street, standing over there watching it, but
they probably can't, but you know what? It's all university property right around there. So I guess they probably could, but.
Yeah. But.
You could probably raise a stink.
Yeah. So what'd you think about Lincoln's statement about Murray on Friday, where he didn't know that he was just staying for just 1 year. It's
honestly, I think that's probably just wishful thinking.
Yeah,
I mean, unless if Kyler has a year a little bit like Baker had this last year, and the team does really well, and and he wins postseason, I just think he's probably just. I mean, he's going to play. He's going to play his best. He's going to do well.
Yeah.
But I think he, he's just counting down the days until he's.
Yeah. Well, to take, to quote Riley, I got this from our good buddy Tyler Palmatier off the Norman transcript. It says, "We'll see if it's Murray's final year. It hasn't been determined yet. I'm not worried about it. If it is or if it isn't, that has no impact on this year. That has no impact on this year." And he said, he just went on to say he stayed out of the negotiation stuff. It's not his business, and so on and so forth. So I wonder where he got, if that was just during the pot coach speak.
Well, if you're Lincoln Riley, you're probably saying, hey, Kyler, you got 2 years of eligibility. You might as well play him.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the guy's a freaking amazing athlete. And you want that kind of kid on your team.
Yeah.
I'm saying everything that he might possibly want to hear to try and keep him 2 years.
Yeah. Well, but then I guess Murray's agent, Scott Boras, isn't that a soap? Borax?
Yeah, something like that.
Came out with a statement says, Kyler's baseball career has a very defined path, which includes playing football at OU for only the 2018 season. Boris told, said on a website. So,
sounds pretty definitive to me.
Because I mean, it would shock me. We've talked about how obviously great his agent is to get him a year's worth of football. His agent would be walking on water if he got him 2 years of football.
So how would that look? I mean, he would leave as soon as football season was over, obviously, to go
get into the farm system.
Get into the system, and then he would play. He would play somewhere. I don't know if he would necessarily be in the pros, but even if he was, double or triple A ball, I mean, he would be playing all season long.
Yeah.
And if he actually did really well, the single A, double A get called up into the triple A team, or the triple A players get called up into the pro team.
Right.
So, it's not out of the realm of possibility that that would happen. But I think probably the first year would be a long shot. And then after a certain amount of time he was there, he would come back to the Sooners for summer workouts.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that would work. So I seriously doubt it. But
yeah. Well, we doubted that he would be here if he signed a baseball contract. So what do we know, right?
Right. Yeah. We don't know nothing.
Zero nada about contracts. But I just thought it was interesting that Riley said that, and then it was almost immediately, not almost, it was fairly quick. The statement was, it was nixed. But on the other side, you've been seeing the pictures and videos on Twitter from the practices and stuff.
I haven't really actually got to look at very many of them today. So.
Man, it's crazy how much stuff we get to see nowadays. It's not a lot of clips, but it's a lot of pictures. But there's a lot of video clips out there. But have you seen the guys wearing? At first, I thought it was extra, head protection, but it looks like it's that and shock sensors. Have you seen the little foam padding things they have on over their helmet?
No.
Yeah, they're like extra on top of the helmet, and I noticed today in the picture it looks like there's a little packet on the back of them.
Huh.
So
they're gathering data.
I guess so. I guess that's what they're doing. It kind of looks like
data.
That.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
But at first I thought, are they wearing just extra padding on their helmets? Because not all of them are wearing them. It's certain guys.
Well, they might be just trying to see who hits the hardest.
Yeah. or finds out who's leading with their head, just so they can work with them to get them to stop.
Maybe.
Stop doing that. But I just thought it was interesting. That those things are on there. But I do want to get onto the question, and we'll get to our guest here in a few minutes. But because we're going to bring this up with him on the Kyler Murray thing, repeat the text that you sent me today.
So I was talking with some people today inside the stadium, and they asked me, with Kyler having $5 million in his pocket, is it against NCAA rules for him to, take his buddies out who may or may not be on the team, to a dinner and a movie or a movie or
pizza,
whatever?
Yeah.
I know those rules are pretty strict, but how does that work when someone's on the team and
is a professional athlete in a different?
Yeah, I just think
so. That's something we need to find out or look up or see, because you wouldn't think, I'm not going to throw any of the quarterbacks out there. Let's just say an ex-quarterback from Oklahoma whose family was well-to-do, or well enough that, once a week he took the offensive line and stuff to the game, to out for pizza or something like that.
So I would have to think that would be against the rules.
Yeah,
but then again, I don't know.
But if it was his money, if it was the kid's parents gave him the money and he did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that the university has a department that's all they do is look at that kind of thing and against NCAA rules. So I would think that somebody knows that answer to that question, but that person is not me.
If y'all know the answer and you're listening today, tweet the answer so all the Sooner fans will know it. Can Kyler take the offensive line out for pizza?
Or buy him a Lincoln. I'm just saying, if he could buy him pizza, he could buy him a Lincoln, right? Or Trans Am, or whatever.
Yeah,
he could buy me a motorcycle if he wanted.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you had the chance. He was in the elevator with you.
I know.
I told you,
hey, will you buy me a motorcycle?
Yeah,
that couldn't have been. That wouldn't have been awkward at all.
No, but anyway, we're going to get to our podcast guest now, so we're going to get him in here in the studio and get going. All right. Well, first off, Teresa, my wife, just made fun of me for calling this the podcast studio.
Well, it is a podcast studio.
We have microphones.
Yeah.
We have computers. But in the podcast room, the man cave,
We need some assistants.
That's what.
Secretaries.
Okay, you can ask Teresa if she wants to do that for us.
I'll ask her.
But here, live and in person with us, right here in Norman, we got Derek Morton. Boomer Derek.
Boomer Sooner. Nice to be with you guys finally. It's been a while.
So we were just talking, when I saw your name on, we had this conversation on Twitter a while back, but I knew your name. I was like, God dang it, I know this guy. And so I sent Rob a message and Teresa a message and Caleb a message. He's like, yeah, you know him, you met him. I mean, he played on the
4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
Yeah, he played on the Steelers, right? You played on the.
Oh man, let's see.
No.
In the 4th grade.
Steelers. I was all the maroon teams.
Oh, okay, Whittier then.
Like Falcons, Raiders, Warriors, whatever we were.
Yeah.
So.
But we were just talking about this because Rob and I. We always take credit where credit's due. We were Sterling's first coaches.
Taught him everything he knows.
And people, you saw it firsthand. People don't realize that when that kid was in 3rd grade playing 4th grade football.
Oh yeah.
That he was.
The kid was a freak. Like I said, I remember playing against him in that first game of tackle football ever. I kind of had a general idea of what to do. But, Sterling broke one off, and I thought I had the angle. Then I quickly realized I did not. And I just seen this green streak with a number 6 just running down the sidelines. And I was like, well, I guess I'll chase him, look like I'm trying. And then I saw him obliterate one of my good friends on the team. And I thought, well, my friend's down, but we need a safety. So, and, by that time, Sterling was already probably on the sideline getting a drink. So.
Yeah, he was crazy. One of mine and Rob's favorite plays was he was returning a kickoff, and I couldn't tell you who it was, but right in front of me and Rob, as we're coaching, he's coming down the sideline. You're like, go, and this kid came up and squared off with him. And Sterling had a knack back then; he would lower his shoulder, but when he hit you, he would throw his head up, and he would hit you under.
Oh yeah, get you under the chin.
Under the chin.
It was nasty.
He hit this kid. The kid went airborne, landed on his back. I kid you not, Sterling stepped on his chest and went over him and went on in to score. And I'll never forget, me and Rob turned at each other and looked, was like, oh my God, did you see that?
Yeah. Well, of course we did. We taught him.
But, as much of a beast as he, I know he is now and was, he was still one of the nicest kids.
Absolutely.
I don't think he met anybody he didn't like.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, he would obliterate somebody like that on the field and then turn around and tell you how great of a person you are.
Yeah.
Shake your hand, walk off, and you're just like,
let me get that blood for you.
Toss, give you a handkerchief to wipe off, dry your nose with and stuff. But no, he was an amazing kid, still is. His family is amazing. And it's still, my wife always tells the story that, his mom, Sherry, doesn't hardly know anything about football. And when we were watching games, she would, when they were watching games, she would always sit, next to Teresa and stuff, and she would ask her what's going on. And
meanwhile, he's the best player on the field by far, and the youngest at that time.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
And you were talking about when you were the only person I know of that put him out of a game. But he wasn't out for very long.
No. I still remember that play very vividly. That's my claim to fame. I knocked an NFL player out of a game for, 2 plays.
No, he was out for a little bit. But his mom was fixing to take him home.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, because he was over there crying, and, as kids do, and when she was like, well, we're just going to go home, and when Mama said go home, the whole attitude changed. It went from, no, I'm not going home. Coach, I'm ready to play again. I'm ready to play again. And I was like, we looked at Mom, and she was like, oh.
So technically, I should probably take credit for that savage mode that Sterling has, right?
Right. Hey, there you go.
I got him to flip that coin, and he was just a different player from then on out. I'll take that credit.
Yeah, there you go. You created the beast that is that
so
is Sterling.
OU football, you're welcome. New York Giants, you can trade him to Dallas whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take it.
But what's funny is that him and Caleb were real close friends, and they, he was over at my house all the time as a kid. But Caleb wrestled, Little League wrestling, and Sterling was like, I want to wrestle, and so we started taking him to novice tournaments. He went and practiced. Again, he was natural, not necessarily wrestling. He was natural at being stronger than everybody he walked out on the mat against.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't win every match, but every match he wrestled, whoever was in there with him knew they jumped in there with a pit bull. I mean, because he was grabbing, throwing, and I just got thinking about all those kids, because he probably had about 15 matches. All those kids are just like you're like, hey, it was like, hey man, I wrestled Sterling Shepard when I was a kid. But not only was a freak athlete, he was in third grade. He was built like he is now.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was a mini Mack truck.
Yeah, he would take off his shirt.
Corvette speed.
He would take off his shirt and muscles.
I've
everywhere.
never seen a fourth grader with a six pack.
Yeah,
It was unnatural. I was like, "Put your shirt on, kid."
yeah,
He was born, no assembly required.
yeah.
Right.
But anyway, Rob and I were just having a conversation before you came in. What did you think? We'll jump into the Kyler stuff real quick. What did you think on Friday when Lincoln said, well, I don't know if this is going to be his own Kyler's only year. The only time will tell.
Well, from a fan standpoint, I was like, man, that would be great. But then the other side of it, I just kind of brushed it to the side. I was like, there's no way. He just signed to this contract. He makes more this year than Lincoln does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no way he puts that in jeopardy, going another year.
Yeah.
Football's unpredictable. You saw Jason White in 2002. He makes one cut and loses his knee.
Nobody even hit him.
Yeah, didn't touch him, and he
Right.
goes down. So for Kyler, it's up to him. It's his life. But with what we know about him signing the contract with Oakland, and, everybody said, okay, they've agreed on this 1 year. For Lincoln to say, this might not be the only year, I don't know how much stock I put into that.
Right.
Because, the MLB is literally sitting there waiting on this kid. Like, here you go. Here's the pro life,
Yeah.
And Kyler, just from seeing his history, or what little history I do know of Kyler, the kid's always been successful. And he hasn't had to deal with much adversity, I guess. That might not be an accurate statement, but, he went 42-0 as a high school starter.
That's
in Texas, 5A. Like, what?
Yeah.
And he's always kind of been in the spotlight. He was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. I don't see where he would throw an opportunity at the MLB away just for another year of college football, because he's, 5'11"?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's 5'11", but it's also Russell Wilson. We never saw that before Russell Wilson.
Right.
So, I think that's, if he's playing the percentages, like, this is probably it for Kyler in football. He's going to go and make millions in the pros playing baseball. I predict that kid's going to have an all-star before his, fifth year. He's going to be insane.
Yeah.
So what if he's on the Heisman podium? Not necessarily does he win it, but he's there.
If he's a Heisman finalist, he's for sure gone. If he wins it or not, he proved what he needed to prove.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but also, his agent, whatever his name is, Boris, came out fairly quickly, I guess, yesterday, and said, yeah, his contract very, very specifically defines 1 year of football.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what Lincoln, other than to stir the pot for the team, the competition, hey, surely he knew that, but, gives us something to talk about. But I'm with you. There's no, even if it was, it would be like, I don't know that I'd have came back and played this year, football.
He is taking a chance.
Yeah.
And we don't know the whole, details on his insurance policies or anything like that. I'm sure Lincoln's probably the only one outside of his camp that knows. But, as a Sooner fan, we're extremely grateful. So, I hope he does well. And, God forbid anything go wrong, he's going to be successful wherever he goes.
Yeah. And then we put a thing out to the fans that are listening to us, so y'all can tweet us tomorrow if anybody knows this answer. Rob, throw your question out again.
So what are the rules on, he's got $5 million in his pocket. Can he take his lineman out to a movie Or is that against NCAA violations? NCAA rules.
Well, I mean, I don't know the definitive answer, but I can give you somewhat of insight. Used to have a friend on the team, Riley Nolan, played offensive line. He transferred in. Me and Riley have known each other since, back in the Optimist days. He played on that team with me.
Oh, really?
Against Sterling. He was doing the same thing. He was third grade playing up to fourth grade. But he was the biggest kid on the team.
Oh.
So, but anyway, Riley went the small college route. Then he, I don't want to be here. Came to OU. He proved himself out on the practice field and, made a name for himself. And anyway, we were hanging out one night, and he just kind of looked over, and he's like, "Hey, man, did you get a call from OU today?" I mean, I was a student at the time, so I was like, "No, I haven't heard anything." And no kidding, 5 minutes later, my phone's ringing. It's one of the OU numbers, and it was actually KC East, and she worked in the OU athletic department with football. And she calls, "Is this Derek?" "Yeah." "Do you know Riley Nolan?" "Yeah." Well, he's put you on his ticket list, and we just want to ask you a few questions. I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, they asked me how long I knew Riley, where I knew Riley from, and when I told them elementary school, she was like, okay, what school? So it's very, very, down to the nitty-gritty when they're wanting to know how somebody knows one of their players. They want to, because they're making sure, they're not giving away tickets for a hookup or whatever it is. Here, I'm sitting next to him. We're playing PS4 or whatever, and I'm answering, yeah, I've known him since we were 4. We went to Roosevelt. We did this. My family and his family are really close friends. And just, hearing that, they're trying to keep all the outside junk away.
Right.
But when it comes down to players, I would say they know Kyler better than anybody else, so I don't see where it would be a problem. But I also see where the NCAA could throw up their red flag, like, no, that's an impermissible benefit.
If it were you and I and we're regular student athletes and you go, or all three of us go out, to New York Pizza and sit down and I say, hey, I'll buy the pizza tonight. I'm sure that's not wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing
wrong. We're
wrong
going to take
with
you
that.
up on that, by the way.
Yeah.
But forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you've got $5 million sitting in your bank account.
If we're student athletes and I've got a $5 million contract in another sport and we're still friends in the sport that we're in, and we go out to New York Pizza and I go, hey, I got the pizza. Is that a violation because I'm a professional athlete in a different sport? Does that cross that line that says, no, you can't do that anymore? You just have to be a regular student athlete. You can't buy anybody a Coke or anything like that. But the old story is what was he's on one of the radio shows now. He was offensive lineman that had to pay for his extra plate of spaghetti. Gay Bikard.
The pasta gate. He had too much at team dinner.
Yeah, he had too much. It was at the awards dinner, and he had wasn't a buffet. It wasn't all you could eat, and he got an extra plate, and it was an NCAA violation. He
Ridiculous.
ate. So I imagine there's something like that there for Kyler that they go, hey,
Well, if that was to come down to it, I think Kyler could easily throw out the argument but they are my teammates.
Right.
They're not friends or boosters. They're my teammates.
I would do this whether I had $5 million or $5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he probably wouldn't do it with $5, but I get you. I get you.
Slice, but I don't know if Cody Ford is just going to be happy with a slice.
Right, or a pepperoni.
But that's an I hadn't even thought about that. Now that he's a professional athlete, in another sport. Is he considered a donor and an athlete to this sport? So
that's.
I don't know. So
there's got to be something in there about active players.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Well, at least we all know he can afford parking.
Right.
That's one person that doesn't have to worry about it.
He doesn't got to worry about it.
Yeah, we used to get parking tickets up there all the time for wrestling practice when Caleb wrestled up there.
Oh, yeah.
We wrestled practice in the old wrestling room. Jack Spates himself would go down there and stand by our cars and wait for the cop to come up, and he would go, hey, these are parents that are up here with these kids, and right in front of Jack, he would put tickets on.
Just ruthless. Absolutely ruthless.
Oh, he would get mad. He would be like, hey, guys, I tried. They're going to keep writing you tickets if you're
Even
down
as current OU employees, we have stickers on the back of our cars and a hang down tag from our rearview mirror. If your hang down tag is not showing, they will write you a ticket, even though you have the sticker on your car. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I hope I don't get fired over this, but it is a problem and it needs to stop.
They're ruthless. They come out of the bushes. I'm not even kidding you. The ticket writers at OU are G.I. Joes. They are just waiting for you to just stop long enough where they can get a ticket on your car.
And their timers are set fast. 30 minutes is like 24 minutes, okay?
So now we got timer-gate at
Yeah,
OU.
we got timer-gate at OU. They won't be in debt for long if they keep messing with the timers.
Yeah. Well, they got to get income somehow. It's off the tickets. So,
Good grief.
Hey, break it down. They probably make $1 million in parking every year. I don't know.
If you guys, we're going to start. We're working on to start videoing some of our podcast too. If folks out there listening could see these two guys' faces while they're talking about this,
It's a serious issue, okay?
It is not
very
free
close.
to park at OU.
even if
Okay.
you work there.
The only free parking at OU is at Lloyd Noble Center. And if you're parked anywhere else on campus, you're getting a ticket.
It's the same at the Oklahoma City campus. I work there every day, 40 hours a week. And we pay $22 a month in parking. Just to walk 2 blocks to our shops and work for the university. We still pay $22 back out of our checks to park there.
Wow, I did not know that.
Times 12. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. It's an extra whatever that I'm missing out on just because my truck sits in their parking lot.
Yeah, that's at least
can I at least get a wash and a wipe down or something? I mean, good grief. Check the air in my tires.
that's a 20-pack a month.
Something. I mean, that's Whataburger on the way home. Whataburger is better than In-N-Out.
Oh,
if
God.
Angry's listening. If Angry's
Angry's
listening, Whataburger is the real deal. In-N-Out doesn't even compare.
There was that was one of the funniest conversations. That thing
That
lasted
was peak off season.
3 days worth of
If it's black socks, white socks, fast food, it's probably in the middle of the summer in Norman, Oklahoma, because we have nothing else to talk about.
right. Because we all hate KD now. The Thunder didn't go anywhere. But we all kind of hated KD in the first place for going to Oklahoma State to play flag football that one night instead of coming.
I hate him because he came from Texas.
Yeah.
So my hate goes a lot further back than that.
Well, that just instilled my hate for Texas when he left. Like, well, never trust a Longhorn.
Right?
So, but anyway, let's get on to some more football stuff. The coaches polls came out, and they had Oklahoma ranked number 5. Derek, do you agree with that ranking?
At the time, I'm gonna say yes. They could I could probably see them a little lower, but no lower than 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do have the whole quarterback controversy. We know who's gonna start.
Right.
But last time we saw Kyler in live action, as a starter, he was at A&M, and it was against LSU, and he didn't look that great.
Yeah.
But he also didn't have the surroundings that he has up here. Obviously, by and far, total different teams.
Okay, Rob.
Yeah, I've always thought that the preseason rankings weren't worth much. I think you need to get past the first couple of games anyway before you start laying claim to who's ranked number 1 and who's ranked number 10, whatever. For us, it's really hard to say. If Kyler is the quarterback we think he is, then we might be ranked a little low, and and the defense plays better. If the defense plays any better at all, we're definitely ranked too low. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
anybody will say if you have half a defense that TCU had last year for OU, we're probably talking about number 8 right now.
Right.
We're going for number 9.
So yeah, absolutely. I think that if my aunt had boy parts, she'd be my uncle. So you can if and but all you want to.
That's just science.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, we get real technical right here on this show. All right, we're talking science and everything else. But I mean, if he's not, what? I mean, that's the kicker. Are we too high? Are we too low? I mean, it really just depends. So I mean, I think we got more than one. It just depends. It depends on whether or not Kyler is the person we think he is. It depends on whether the defense is better than we thought, or if the defense is better than we hope it was last year, right? Because if those things are true, then we're going to be pretty good. And I think 5 is maybe a little low. honestly, I think we could be higher. But I'm not upset at number 5. I wouldn't be upset if we were number 7 just because I don't really care about those preseason rankings. After we put it on the first 3 or 4 people, 5 people, and we're 6-0 going into, that's when they're going, their offense is ranked up there, their defense is ranked up there, and they're kicking the crap out of people. That's when I think the rankings matter more.
Right.
So.
And it's also just crazy. This time last year, we knew we didn't have a great defense.
Right.
We knew, we didn't improve much, talent-wise over the summer as much as we have this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So this time last year, we knew we had Baker Mayfield, and we knew we had an offense that would score 40 every time, or at least 30. And we just sat and prayed that the defense could make 2 or 3 stops again.
Right.
That's all you really need in football. 2 or 3 stops with an offense like we had last year, and you win the ball game.
Right.
And you might win it by 20 plus.
Yep.
But now, okay, Baker's gone, but we have some great guys in that quarterback room. And now we're talking about having a better defense. If this is the defense that we think it's going to be, and last year, all we're talking about is national championships and appearances.
No, he's absolutely right.
But now,
so then number 5 is a little low, right?
Yeah. Well, if this was the defense last year, or this year, or same offense, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, we're absolutely too low. I think we should be in the 1 or 2, spot. But it's kind of weird to say the offense is the question mark,
right?
Because we have confidence in the defense. That's just weird to say.
Well, I'm one, and I've thought this way all the way back when I was a kid about the top 25 and the top 20 polls or whatever, especially preseason. And this comes from a lifetime of being from a boxing family. Okay, I think the top 25 at the end of the year should be the top 25 at the beginning of the following year. You shouldn't move until somebody knocks you off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would be perfectly fine with, and I still think it's about like this. I think it's Alabama, Georgia, and us. And after us, it's kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
I think.
So does Ohio State fall if Urban Meyer's gone? Because that is a huge catalyst in any team. I don't care what you say.
Why is Ohio State where they are right now? They're
Urban
in the
Meyer.
same spot we
Right.
are. Okay, but Meyer doesn't play the game. They're still trying to break in a quarterback.
Right.
They lost all those guys on defense. You can't just replace a Denzel Ward.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
I agree.
why?
But
What is it they're getting? What is it in respect that they're getting that
It's
Oklahoma's
Urban Meyer.
not? It is.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Urban Meyer. But see,
I agree.
my thing is just I just stack them up where they ended up the last year. Let the first week come, then you change it. If somebody gets beat, I just don't think you change it. I don't care if we'd have lost I don't care if you were Marshall when the plane crash happened. If it was at the end of the year and you were the number 1 team, by God, you're number 1, you're number 2, you're number 3 until the next season and you lose a game.
I agree.
And then they can drop you as far as they want. They can drop, but that's just the old boxing thing in me is you don't lose rank unless you refuse to fight somebody or you get beat. So
I see that, but I also see that we lost a Heisman quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we lost. He did go first. No, he didn't go. I was going to say a first-round offensive lineman in Orlando Brown, but he didn't go first round.
he was supposed to, but
Yeah,
He was an All-American here. We all know that. So.
right. Just just outside looking in, they lost a Heisman quarterback. Well, yeah, they're going to drop a little.
Yeah.
they're not going to be as
Mackey
good as
winner.
they were. Right. So
yeah. But I'm on the other side of the fence though. I'm until this defense does something. Okay, I have 0.
And that's absolutely fair.
Zero
It's
faith.
been 5 years.
Yes, that anything is going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Offense, I think Riley's knack of putting guys in the right position, not only before the game, during the game, and around the game surroundings, that you could put one of us 3 out there at quarterback and we could have a pretty good day. Okay.
You're extremely confident. I appreciate that.
Because my man up there in the big picture, Terry Bradshaw, I've quoted this many times, when he got his Hall of Fame, speech, he flat out said, I wasn't that good a quarterback, but I had some of the greatest teammates around me and the greatest receivers to ever play the game in Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. That says a lot. When you got, CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown, Trey Sermon in the backfield, Anderson in the backfield, tight end,
Calcaterra.
Yeah. Good God. I mean.
Hey, the boy has weapons.
Yeah, and you throw that speed that Kyler's going to come in here with and the mind of Lincoln Riley that he's proven to be so far, our offense is going to be just I'm not worried about the offense, period. I mean, if we've said it before, that play against Ohio State when Kyler had to come in for him, they ran that, I don't know what you got, zone read triple option, whirly bird, backward flat. That was ingenious. I mean, when I saw that, I about jumped out of my skin. It's like he just added another option to the running part of the RPO offense.
If he'd have took that to the house, would we have seen it again?
Well,
not with Baker.
It's nice to hear this side of it, whereas you were excited because you recognized the option. All I know is in my house, when we saw that play, we thought, oh, my God, what are they doing? They screwed up. The play's wrong. Kyler was supposed to keep it. I don't know, but we freaked out.
Yeah.
And then, they brought Baker back in, and the next day we were kind of sitting around like, they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean.
No, I say if you watch, and Sermon did it perfect. He ran it like a quarterback because he waited for that corner to commit to him. Mm-hmm. And as soon as that corner come off the block at him, doop, right out there, and I was like, dude, that was flash of the 80s right there.
Well, even in that play, it gained, like 8 yards, something like that. Even in that little snatch of a play, you got 8 yards. Mm-hmm. We were so, embellished into this, like we saw him pitch it back to the quarterback. And like, well, it's a trick play. It didn't go to the house. It didn't work. No, you gained 8 yards on a wrinkle.
Yeah. And I guarantee you every team that is preparing for Oklahoma is watching that play this year going, that's going to happen again.
Oh, yeah.
And if Kyler's back there, it's going to happen more than once.
Me and Terry were like that dude from the Waterboy. We were like,
oh, yeah. He's Gildo.
Anyway, but the rest of the, of course, Alabama's number one. And I got to get my spectacles on here. Alabama, Clemson. I don't know. I don't know that Clemson is going to be any better than what they were last year.
All I'm hearing is this quarterback they got, not Kelly Bryant, the freshman.
Yeah.
They're going to replace a quarterback that took them to the playoffs with a true freshman. Apparently he's a godsend. I don't know much about him. I know he's got long blonde hair and he can throw the ball. That's about it. So
then, of course, the Ohio State factor. But I'm, with if he's gone, I guarantee you they drop them out of the top 10. And now it kind of looks like he's going to stick around. I wouldn't have thought there was any way. Yeah,
I hadn't seen anything on it lately.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say I put 20 when it was minus or plus 200 on Ryan Day being the opening day starter. I'm sorry, I'm a degenerate gambler, and I saw those odds. Well.
Yeah, but then they got Georgia number 4 and Oklahoma. I just think those two teams deserve to be up there at the top. I mean, with what they did last year. Washington, I think, is overrated again.
I do too.
Wait, before you keep going, is that a statement from the NCAA saying that, Ohio State should have been in the playoff last year instead of either Oklahoma or Georgia?
The coaches, because this is the coaches. Well, it could be. I mean,
it was Alabama. They
were the one. They were the odd team out that everybody thought shouldn't have been.
Yeah, but a lot of people said Ohio State should have made it before we did.
Yeah,
which I don't understand.
We kicked that booty.
Yeah,
I mean.
Baker still owns that stadium, so.
Right? Yeah.
But
on the lease.
Yeah.
Again, Washington. I just don't think. I think they're a bigger, stronger Boise State. That they're going to kind of have some impressive wins just because Peterson, their coach. It's just kind of what he does. But Wisconsin, I think, is too low. I think Wisconsin got stage fright. And, the Big Ten championship game, they should have won that game.
Yeah.
I think
Wisconsin's young, and they were young last year, and they were rolling. That thing is a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
They play old-school football. They were going to pound you till you're tired. And then, what's his name? Alex Hornibrook. He's just going to sit back and throw a couple passes, and you're down 14, and their defense is salty.
Yeah. So I think, and I was hoping for because if they'd have got in, that's who we'd have played. Because we would have been, because we were ranked 2. They were ranked 3, so we would have been against Wisconsin, and we'd have ate their lunch.
Oh, I'd have been a lot happier instead of calling my boss after the Rose Bowl like, I'm not gonna make it in. Sorry, I'm catching the last flight. Whatever.
Then they got Miami, Florida. Again, I think they're overrated.
Absolutely.
Rob?
Absolutely.
No.
They can wear all the necklaces they want to. It ain't going to help them beat real teams.
Didn't they get shut out in the ACC title game?
Yeah.
So they played somebody with talent and then just got goose egged?
Yeah, they finally played somebody with talent.
That's somebody else I really wanted them to beat Clemson because
Yeah.
would have been OU Miami. I'll take that all day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you better believe it.
I'll take that all day.
Every time we can play them and shut them up, I want that game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Then they got Penn State at number 9. Penn State's just a weird team. I mean, it's like they seem like they're really good for a little bit, and then they kind of drop off. The only thing that I think is really cool about them is their head coach and the guy from Key and Peele. They look alike, and he's...
Wait, you think that James Franklin looks like Keegan-Michael Key?
Yes. Have you not seen this stuff on...
I haven't seen them together, but
my God.
now you've got my attention.
Yes. Okay. YouTube it, Google it. They do a thing together. It is
You had my interest.
It is freaking hilarious. No, go find it. They did a thing on it may have been the ESPYs that I saw it. They did a thing on it, and because he acts like him,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you got to go check that out.
Quite a character, James Franklin.
Yeah.
In itself. Okay, but Penn State. I just got a question. Was Trace McSorley that good, or did Saquon Barkley make Trace look that good?
I think Barkley.
I mean, we'll find out this year, but
Yeah.
That's what I've always thought. I thought it was just Barkley carrying that team. They do have some ballers,
Yeah.
but I don't know if Trace McSorley can take on a heavier load because, I mean, that was all Saquon last year. Just get the ball to him. He's going to make something happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if Trace has that it factor. They've called him a poor man's Baker Mayfield, and I resent that
Yeah.
because Baker's just on a different level.
Yeah.
So
And to be quite honest with you, not to bring up, the past and disgusting stuff, but
we don't discuss losses.
I can't believe that Penn State is back as quickly as they are.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely,
I
James
mean-
Franklin has done a fantastic job.
I mean, to take that job, because Megan and Greg, my daughter and son-in-law, they lived in Pennsylvania for a while, and about that time that this happened, and I went out there to help them move back to Oklahoma, talk to some Penn State fans, and they were all behind Joe Pa. It was just like it's a travesty, it's a conspiracy, it's this, it's that. And so I wouldn't talk about it. I was like, so what do y'all, what's going on? Oh, the NCAA just came after him and this and that and and how much they were just appalled by what happened. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to get lynched but just the fact that I guess the university goes out there, they tear down, the statues of him, just basically erased all, existence.
Well, they had to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, had to.
And him, the coach and the university to be able to wipe the slate clean and go, hey, this is new. That ain't going to happen again. And for parents to, be willing to send their kids there and kids to, because we all know it starts off young. Kids go to football camps, and that's where a lot of that crap was going on.
Oh yeah,
was at these camps and stuff. So, it's I've said it before. Sending your son to Penn State is almost like sending your daughter to Baylor. I mean, who would want?
Yikes.
man,
Got tough in here, didn't it?
it's hot.
Man,
I'm just saying.
Terry.
I mean, it just dumbfounds me that Penn State has rebounded. The university, the team.
Yeah, because they weren't really back anywhere before. Under Joe Paul's rule, they still weren't.
Yeah, they really they didn't have much success there in his later years.
Yeah.
So we destroyed them, right, in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
And they weren't any good. They haven't been any good since that day,
Yeah.
I think.
But they made the Rose Bowl was at 2009 and just got floor waxed by USC.
Right.
And it was kind of like what we all said, like, well, is Penn State that good or is the Big Ten down? And then USC answered that for us pretty quickly.
Right.
But anyway, that's and Auburn tops off, the top 10. I'm not going to go into the all top 25 because
how many SEC teams were in the top 10 right there?
I don't know how SEC.
Just 3, I think.
Georgia, Alabama, and Clemson.
Clemson's not an SEC.
No, I mean Auburn. Sorry,
Auburn.
And Big 12 had 5 teams in the top 25.
Oh.
TCU is 16.
I'm not counting Texas.
West Virginia 20th, Texas 21st, and Oklahoma State 25th.
Going back to your theory on the top 25 and how it goes to the next year, how do you justify putting Texas at 21? Not just in the top 25, but 21 in front of 4 other teams.
Yeah, you can't.
Well, what you do is you say, well, they're the second richest team in the country. Let's go ahead and put them up at number 21, even though they deserve to be at 41.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the Longhorn Network. I guess that's worth a top 25.
Yeah.
I don't really understand that one, though.
Yeah, I mean.
And that's unbiased opinion. What has Texas done to earn that?
Nothing.
They finished 7-6 last year, beat Missouri in the Texas Bowl.
Hey, you remember that time they got beat by Kansas?
Oh, how can you forget?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, every year, the last 2 years, we've heard it. Texas is back. Texas, when they beat Notre Dame 2 years ago, oh, Texas is back. And then we figured out Notre Dame was
shit.
Yeah.
I mean, not very good.
Yeah. And so they weren't back. And then we got Tom Herman. Yeah, Texas is back. And they get throttled by, was it Maryland?
Maryland.
Yeah.
A school where their mascot is a tortoise.
A tortoise. And their helmets look like, Game of Thrones shield. I mean,
I had to take Advil that whole game because my head hurt looking at the Maryland helmet.
They need to figure out a color and stick with it.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't they just wear the Baltimore or the Maryland state flag as a uniform?
Right.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah,
you know what? They went down to Austin, Texas, by God, and they won a football game.
Yeah. Put a spanking on them.
Texas was back for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, back for the pregame workout and the barbecue and beer out in the parking lot. So
they've got some great videos on Twitter of like their pool scene, their linebacker with Goldilocks. It looks really good on video.
Yeah,
but they got to go to Maryland here week 1.
Yeah,
11 a.m. kick. I don't know. They better come ready to play because I don't think Maryland lost very much.
Yeah. And that they're not going to be scared of them. There's no intimidation factor of Texas.
Have no reason to be.
Yeah, you already went down there and
not anymore.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then we got the Owls coming in to OU on the first game, and their votes equate to a number 33 overall spot.
They're low, way too low.
You think so?
That is a talented team.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now. A lot of people say Florida Atlantic is their game that, they're, Lane Kiffin and all this, they're, on this win streak. But ESPN says that we've got a 95.3% chance of beating them. How do you feel about that?
I think that's very fair. I think what most fans, OU fans, are thinking right now is, game 1 for OU, we're thinking blowout.
Yeah.
Whoever we play. We thought that when we played Houston and got beat. Mm-hmm. We thought we're going to go down there, we're going to win by 17, 21 points, we're going to get out of there. That's when I saw Florida Atlantic on the schedule, a year or two ago, I was like, oh, that's a win. That's a 20, 30-point win. Mm-hmm. Well, the Lane train rolled into Boca Raton, and Coach Joey Freshwater is bringing a very talented team to Norman who won 10 games last year. And they've got some swagger. They got attitude. I don't know if you guys watched Last Chance U, but they got a couple of those cats down there. And then Chris Robinson whatever his name is, makes his return to Norman. Hopefully he's sober. If I don't think it's going to matter. But, I think it's close early, and then OU kind of wears on them and pulls away late. But they got a running back in that Singletary kid, and we're going to have to be sure tacklers on the defensive end because that kid's got some wheels.
Well, I can guarantee you that when Josie, scheduled this game, they thought Howard was still going to be coaching there.
Is he the AD down there?
Something like that.
How old is he? Like 130? Still just puffing on a pipe and drinking some bourbon.
He's pickled. Yeah, little embalmed.
And I think the stadium is Schnellenberger Field or Schnellenberger Stadium. But I guarantee you, they thought, he's going to be the coach. They hadn't won anything. But I guarantee you, I was watching one of their games a couple of years ago, and somebody said no. I put it because I put a thing on Twitter or on Facebook about it. It's like, if anybody's watching that game, one of the sideline ladies come up and hand him a can that's wrapped in white tape. And I was like, they just handed that man a beer on the sideline.
Oh, if it was Snelly, it was absolutely beer, and it was probably a High Point beer.
And because, it wasn't like, she came up with, for him and just handed it to him, like, here you go. And he gets it and turns around. I was like, is that dude drinking a beer or is it a soda? And they wrapped it up. I guarantee you he was over there having a cold one on the sidelines.
He got to Boca Raton and was like, I'm on paid vacation. So.
But you're right, though. The Kiffin factor makes this game a whole lot more, it's like, what is it? The power index. Football power index has is at 95. We should win it, but I think it's going to be a game for a little while.
I wouldn't be surprised to be sitting at halftime tied at 17 or only up 21-17, something like that. But you're going to see the difference between the two teams in that late third quarter, early fourth quarter, when you got this offensive line of Cody Ford, Drew Samia, Ben Powers, and they're just laying on these guys.
So then we got UCLA's the second game, and ESPN's FPI has it a 87.8% chance to win.
No chosen Rosen, right?
No,
but the way those UCLA fans are talking about what's his DTR, I don't know his name, but they call him
Dorian
DTR.
Thompson Robinson.
That cat. Apparently he's supposed to be their savior. And they do have Chip Kelly, and Chip Kelly runs closest thing to Lincoln's offense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we saw what Chip did with Oregon. Got him to a national title game, fizzled out against Auburn, but was in the game.
Yeah.
So I think the Chip Kelly, just like the Lane Kelly or Lane Kiffin factor, that Chip Kelly factor is huge in this game. Mike Stoops better dial it up.
Yeah.
Then
we traveled to Iowa State, and we have a 75.8% chance to win that.
So I'm sorry, 75?
Yeah.
75%. Is this all because we, tripped over ourselves last year?
A revenge game from a season ago when the Cyclones stormed into Norman and snapped an 18-game Sooners winning streak.
Whatever. OU wins by 40.
I've been saying it. Been saying it for 10 years.
Okay, and then, wow, holy cow. Army, we got ESPN's FPI is 98.2% chance to win.
If Army was 75%, I'd believe it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You saw Georgia gash us all last year with the run game.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize this. The nation's leading rushing offense was Army last year. They lost 3-year starting quarterback Ahmad Bradshaw.
Well, if you don't ever throw the ball, just saying your odds go up.
It's just going to be one of those games. You stop them once or twice, maybe 3 times, you win the ball game.
Yeah.
But
and then we got Baylor. We got the FPI 86.3% chance to win.
That game's in Norman.
Yeah, and it better not be a frickin'.
That fiasco last year was absolutely frustrating.
I couldn't get fiasco out. I'm glad.
Terrible.
It was like watching the Texas Tech game 2 years ago.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, it was both teams standing out there, quarterback standing on the 20, throw it as far as you can.
It looked like 7-on-7.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so then we got the Longhorns.
Always a tough game. It doesn't matter. They could be 0-4 or we could be 0-4 and the other one's undefeated. It's going to be a tough game either way.
64.5% chance to win.
No problem.
So,
the thing about Texas is I think they got both of those quarterbacks. I think are pretty salty.
Yeah,
but they got to choose one and stick with it. They can't do the flip flop thing. I don't think it works for any team. I don't think it's ever really worked for any team that I can think of. And the defense there, it's not bad. I mean, really, it's not. They held us to less points, I think, than anybody else.
27 points.
Mm-hmm. So if they can figure that out, they got a chance of being better. Are they back? I don't.
As an OU fan, I want to see Sam. I don't want to see Sam Ehlinger. I want Buechele behind center because Buechele can't run. Right. We struggle. We've always struggled with a running quarterback.
Yeah, since Vince Young.
No,
we shut him down, but that was the last one we shut down.
So going into our off week, according to ESPN, we should be 6-0.
I agree.
And 2-0 in the Big 12. No, 3-0 in the Big 12. Then we have off week, and we go into TCU. FPI is 71.7% chance to win for Oklahoma. I don't see any reason why this year would be different than either one of the games last year.
We have their number.
We got their number now.
Man, I'm glad y'all are confident. I'm really not. Ever since the whole deal with Trevor Knight and Fort Worth and the way that game went, Fort Worth scares me a little bit.
Well, when arguably, I think, and this is my opinion, Gary Patterson is one of the best defensive coaches. Absolutely. In a league that everybody says you can't play defense, Gary Patterson has a top 10 defense every year.
So it's possible.
So it's possible, but they never bring that up when they talk about, you can't defend in the Big 12. Gary Patterson can. But Gary Patterson, at the end of that Big 12 game last year, was good luck.
Yeah.
He saw him twice and could not figure out a way to stop that offense.
Well, nobody really could either. I mean,
right.
The games we did lose, we scored points.
Yeah.
I don't understand the SEC and how they shut Oklahoma. No, dude, we scored 48 points.
Yeah.
48 points in a football game should win you the damn game every single time.
Preach.
Well, when your defense is ranked, 67?
67.
67. Yep. Mike Stoops is getting that tattooed if he's not even better this year. 67, right on his forehead.
We're going to do it with a hot point cone, too.
We're going to do like the Inglorious Bastards,
just get the blade out. Just get the blade out.
If you ever want to eat another sauerkraut sandwich, Mike Stoops.
You going to take off that coaching attire when you're done?
Didn't think so.
I'll give you something you can't take off.
Good one. That's a good one.
Okay, then we got Kansas State with an 86.9% chance. I think that's high because on the other end of it, Bill Snyder has got Mike Stoops' number.
Is it Bill Snyder or is it his assistants? Because I don't know if Bill's even alive anymore. I think it's a hologram.
Down there.
I think it's a hologram. And he's just on the sidelines.
Yeah, because that's the only way they can win if they put him on the sidelines.
But again, mobile quarterback. They got Alex Delton, the kid. He's got a year under his belt. They kind of threw him to the wolves last year.
Yeah.
He gave us fits.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking about the defense being better, we shouldn't have a problem. But it is K-State. They run a weird, funky offense, and they always seem to score points.
Yeah.
So,
especially against us. But like me and Rob were talking a couple of weeks ago, they basically run the same offense that he and I did when we coached Sterling.
What, just give it to Sterling?
Yeah, give it to the quarterback. Just we're going to run right behind the right and left. The right guard and the left guard and the right guard and the right tackle. You're going to follow the fullback and this guy. We're going to do that 752 times, and they'll never tackle us. And they were right.
And Sterling scored about 749.
That's what Kansas State did to us last year. Just ran right at us.
You know what's funny, though? In the fourth grade, the team we played in the championship, I don't even remember who it was.
It was the Steelers.
The Steelers. They figured out that wherever Sterling went, all 11 kids on that sideline, that's where they went. Right? And they had us beat.
Yeah.
They had us beat, didn't they, Terry?
Mm-hmm.
And their coach got a little cocky and tried to throw a pass with, like a minute on the clock?
Yeah.
And Ryan Demme, who never caught anything.
Not even.
I love you to death, Ryan Demme, but you
not even
know,
a cold.
You didn't even catch a cold that year and caught an interception and ran it all the way back.
I'm serious, and he's like, we both love him. We used to joke. I still do. Literally, you could be from me to you, and you throw him a football, and he would drop it.
Well, I know he was always great as a defensive back at Norman North. He was a great defensive back.
Yeah.
Because he could run like a gazelle.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm saying you were good. I'm not saying you couldn't catch. You were just great at swatting.
He was awesome.
He was
a great
and
so was Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, me and Ray. I don't know how we're still friends, but, man, we turned out to be really good friends after we stopped playing against each other.
Yeah.
We got to the same team, and we're like, all right, it's on.
And then I think Sterling ran the game winner in, right?
Yeah, he ran
with seconds on the clock.
Yeah, seconds on the clock. But then we got Texas Tech, 76% chance to win.
Is that at Tech? I think it is.
Yes, at Texas Tech.
As long as it's not a night game and they don't have tortillas, we should be all right.
Deadly tortillas there in Lubbock.
Yeah.
Well, Texas Tech, don't they have 3 defensive backs on the All Big 12 preseason list?
Yeah.
One of them came from that last chance U school.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. Isaiah something or other.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I can't either. Dreadlocks.
That narrows it down.
To about 50.
All I know is that's the first time I've seen Texas Tech defense be recognized for anything in the past, 20 years.
100.
Yeah, but it the last time Oklahoma was in Lubbock, it was the 66-59 track meet. So,
didn't they have a lower total score in the basketball game?
Yeah, I think so.
God, I hated that game.
I couldn't stand it.
Hated that game.
Yeah, and then we got the Pokes the week after that. Here with a 75.3% chance of winning.
Okay, so let's talk about them for just a minute. A lot of people are giving them a lot of props, but I think they could just as easily go 2-10 as they 2-9 or whatever as they do what everybody else is saying.
Yeah. Well, and they're getting props because I guess the new defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles.
He doesn't play.
Yeah. So, that's...
They're replacing 2 safeties. I get it. You got a new D coordinator, new system, new wrinkles for these coaches to figure out, but I don't see much changing. It's gonna take a year or 2 to get used to that defense.
Yeah. Then we got Kansas, and then we.
You hear that, Texas? We don't get scared when we talk about Kansas.
Yeah, but according to ESPN, we'll go into the West Virginia game at 12-0, 9-0 in the Big 12, with a 74% chance of winning the game, and be back in. They're saying will likely be the game happening again the week after that.
Oh, you're in West Virginia again?
Yeah.
Hate that.
Yeah. I don't. Again,
it doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah. You go look through this little article thing I got here, and they all have people's names highlighted from, the different teams and the coaches and stuff. And there's only one name highlighted in West Virginia, and that's Will Grier. I know he's a Heisman hopeful and everything else, but I'm going to stick to my guns with West Virginia until they prove differently. They've never competed in the Big 12. They're always supposed to be there. It wouldn't shock me if they were, had 3 losses coming into the OU game. 4 losses.
Well, it comes down to their offensive line. And if they don't have any better offensive line than they had last year, he's going to be running for his life. He may not make it to the Oklahoma game.
Yeah. So
exactly like last year.
Basically
running for his life, and his thumb came off.
Yes.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
It just, science.
Yeah, science. There's more than science.
Told you.
So, according to the, FPI and ESPN's FPI, Oklahoma is running the table in the regular season. Now, they don't go into the, they say that we'll likely face West Virginia in the Big 12 championship game, which I personally think we're probably going to be facing TCU. I just think TCU is going to they're going to rise to the top. But, if we do that, we win that, we're in the playoffs again, playing somebody, and to hope to God that we can get past that first game.
I'm not going in anymore semifinals. I'll take that blame. I'm not going to go to any more.
You've been to both of them?
I was in the Orange Bowl, or I went to the Orange Bowl. One of those deals. Had my buddy on the team. I ended up getting a ticket. Worst trip of my life. 22-hour drive straight there. I was there for maybe 36 hours and drove straight back. Terrible trip. We lost. Clemson fans suck. Except for the 4 that I met at the hotel. Y'all are still cool. They bought me some tequila because I was in a bad mood. So those guys are great. Georgia fans, also really good. Hate your students, though. They're terrible.
Yeah. But so did you drive out to the Rose Bowl, too?
Drove out to the Rose Bowl, stayed with a buddy that lived in San Diego, and then used some vouchers, got a flight back. So luckily didn't have to drive back.
Yeah.
But
Rob likes driving out to California.
Especially through Arizona.
Oh, yeah. You see all the nothing.
Yeah, well, no, Rob donates money to the Highway Patrol out in Arizona every time he drives through it.
Oh, really? I decline that option.
Yeah. I was just going 96. So it's not really like I was speeding,
You're not even doing
right?
triple digits.
Yeah.
I know.
Were they afraid you were going to hit nothing?
Well, it's just good that he got me when he got me because I was doing triple digits. But
I'll tell you what, if you're wanting to go that fast, the way to do it is the way we did it. We left Norman about 3 o'clock. By the time we got to New Mexico, it was dark. Nobody wants to work in the dark. We were in a black car, so we were just zooming through.
Turn the lights out.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just us and this little Chevy Sonic, which I look like Mr. Incredible sitting in that little car. It was terrible, but you know what? Dude. We were doing 90 plus through Flagstaff and getting through the mountains. But I will tell you this quick little story. When we got to the California line, I was on my sleep time and my buddy was driving. We pulled up to that checkpoint right there at the line, and he thought it'd be a great idea not to wake me up. So I'm just over here tanked out, against the window, and all of a sudden I wake up to a flashlight in my face asking me, "Do you have any produce? Do you have any produce?" And I'm like, what? Produce? What? No, I don't even like vegetables, And she's like, "All right, y'all are good." We start driving, and he's just sitting there smiling, laughing. It's 3 a.m. And I look over. I was like, "You want to explain that?" You go, "Explain what? We don't have any vegetables." Of all things, they wake me up. I thought I was going to jail. I honestly thought I was. We had beer in the back seat.
Yeah.
We did not drink and drive. We don't condone drinking and driving, but we did have cold ones in the back seat. It was in a chest. We couldn't reach them. Covering all my points here. Anyway, they could have asked us for anything else, but they asked for vegetables, and by God, we didn't have any.
Yeah, that's a little bit odd that you can't take the stuff in there. But yeah, we drove. Well, Rob and his boys drove out. My son lives out there, and we drove out, so we got free hotel and stuff. He lives in Palmdale.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, we stayed out there for a week, but hopefully, knock on wood, that we'll be playing back-to-back games in Jerry World.
That would irritate the hell out of ESPN, wouldn't
it? Oh,
yeah. Oh, that would drive them nuts.
Because we'd be in the Big 12 championship, and if we went out like everybody is saying that we're overrated, but now everybody,
Greg
ESPN.
McElroy.
Yeah. They sit around and go, they're overrated, but yet, okay, your own network sits here and says they're not going to lose a game. So
science, folks.
Science says they're not going to lose a game.
Mm-hmm. That's the new math.
Yeah. So the new math says that we would be playing in the semifinals in Arlington, Texas.
Greg McElroy is kind of like that guy on SpongeBob. He's like, okay, so our computers say they're going to go undefeated. Yep. They're not going to lose one game. Nope. They're overrated. What? I guess that's the way Alabama does things.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're trashing the Big 12, and Oklahoma all in one fell swoop there.
Yeah. So, but, I can't see, the only thing about this, and I agree 100% with what Caleb said, even though it's getting that time of year, Caleb's on injured reserve from the weekend tonight. But
prayers up.
Yeah. So he, as the season, he'll be coming on the podcast to talk smack to Rob and everybody else. But, there hasn't been an undefeated national champion since 2012. Yeah, I think it was
Florida State.
Florida State.
Yeah.
So nobody.
They were led by a great guy, weren't they?
Yeah. So nobody has done, and it's very difficult to do. I mean, look at us last year. What out of that team? What out of all these teams do you look as the snake in the grass that's going to jump up and bite us?
I've already gave my 2 cents.
I guess Texas. It's always the toss-up because it's Texas.
Yeah.
But I if I'm saying anything, I would be more afraid of Florida Atlantic than I would be UCLA.
Yeah.
Just because Lane Kiffin, I don't know, he's a weird cat. The stuff he comes up with, it works. And he's got that team going in the right direction. He's putting up massive points. He's running the spread power, whatever you want to call it. He's throwing the ball around, but like I said, that running back he was an All-American.
Yeah.
301 carries.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I agree with a little bit of how Pat Jones puts it. 301 carries against air is good. When you carry the ball that much, but they're not facing, Oklahoma, and he hasn't faced a defense like Oklahoma, even the 67th ranked defense.
They did play Wisconsin. They lost by 17, but they played Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, that's true. So,
but it's kind of like you said. They won their conference last year, but they played North Texas in their conference title. Now,
they should have just walked out.
All praise to that kid playing quarterback down there. He's an Oklahoma native.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. He's from Lone Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Kid is a stud, but it's going to take a lot to bring North Texas up to any kind of par.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be, that game is going to be interesting. Like we've always said, though, too. Those first 4 games, they got us circled. Oklahoma circled on that. And I think Lane Kiffin has it double circled and highlighted and in his pocket and everywhere else because, no offense to the Boca Raton folks or the FAU fans, the Schnellies down there, that's a win against Oklahoma.
He gets a Power 5 job.
He gets a Power 5 job.
I agree.
Well, and they've got this report that's in your hands right now that says we have a 95.3% chance of beating them, hung up all over the locker room.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a signature win, first game of the season. FAU comes in and upsets Oklahoma on their home field. Lane Kiffin he has a good season, continues a good season like what he had last year. He's done. Tennessee, USC is forgiven. They're not going to hire him back.
No.
but somebody will hire him in a Power 5.
I can see that situation happening with, say they do upset OU, and he goes 11-1, 10-2, something like that. Another great season for them. And Ed Orgeron gets fired down there in Baton Rouge, and then you have Lane Kiffin in Baton Rouge. That's like a young Les Miles. He's insane.
He is.
And I don't know what it is, the voodoo of Louisiana, but you get a guy like Lane Kiffin in there, they're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see that just so we could, play against Saban again. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be the headline.
Absolutely.
But, well, guys, I think that's about it. We've covered just about everything we could cover that's happened over the weekend.
It's been a good one.
And stuff. Derek, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me. I've had a blast.
And
it's good to see you guys.
We will, we're going to be doing, we put it out today that people can sign up to be on our pregame show. And just so everybody knows, we've gotten quite a few, people go on our website and fill out the little form. It's real simple. But we're not doing a show during the day on Saturday. We'll do it during the week and record, and then we're going to drop it Saturday morning so everybody can listen to the fans' take at their tailgates or at wherever they listen to. So you're not going to be giving away your Saturday morning. You're not going to, we will be doing it through the week and recording it. We're going to give fans their own time to give their own 2 cents about the game, give a prediction. We're going to do as many fans as we can throughout the week and hopefully have a 2 or 3 4-hour podcast that people can sit down and listen to and just get the fans' perspective instead of, we all love the sports animal and the franchise and all that stuff, but this is the fans' perspective and get to listen to your buddies say what they think and agree or disagree with fans and just kind of.
Plus, we got good stories.
Oh yeah, we always got good stories.
That's what makes.
And in fact, next time you're on, I don't know if you remember this or not, but in junior high, you knocked out my son from a football game.
I knocked out Michael.
Yep.
I don't remember that. That's probably because I got a concussion too. I've had a few of them in my day. So
yeah,
Michael, I'm sorry. I still love you.
I think we had to take him to the emergency room because he was just.
Now, hold on, this isn't a ploy to get money out of me, is it?
What, do you have some money?
I have zero money.
Oh, okay, then it's.
I've got like a 50% off card for like a yogurt, but I need that for lunch.
Okay, all right.
But see, the problem is that Michael kind of walks around with a concussion, so there's not really any way of determining if he has.
We did it to him.
Yeah. I swear to God, that kid, love him to death. He came out the last 2 weekends. We go out to Buffalo Wild Wings, which you're welcome to come out and join us anytime out there.
I'll put some wings away.
And on Thursday nights, we have our own spot, But Michael came out, and all Rob's boys came up, and Michael comes. I didn't see him. He comes up and starts growling and humming in my ear. I'm just like that. And he goes, "Hey man, how you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, you are like." I just want to let you know I was here. I mean, he's a special kind of mix, isn't he?
Loved growing up with Mike. He was a good friend of mine through all high school. He played ball, and everything. He may not have been the best quarterback, but he would put it all out there.
Yeah.
And I remember there was times at practice he'd roll out and I'm just like, what in the world are you doing? And then he'd wing it and I'm like, oh my God, we scored. That kind of deal. And then, he's not cocky or nothing. He just come off biggest goofball out there.
Oh yeah.
And just like, hey man, you see that? Like, yeah, whatever. I don't understand how you do it, but you do it. And he's a great kid to be around. I was happy to be friends with him. Still am. Don't see him as much, but so was life.
Can I share the story about the picture that was found on his or on somebody's cell phone when he spent the night here when they had the Slump Caleb's birthday party here?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know who had the picture, but you found out about it, and it was the oddest phone call that I ever got. Do you remember this, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So Michael, we get to tell all these stories, and you guys just have to know Michael to appreciate it. Rob called me and he goes, "Man, I got to talk to you about something." He goes, "I really don't know how to, to put it out there, to say it or anything, and so I'm just going to say it, about this picture I found. I'm just going to say it." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what kind of picture were
You're going through all your mental faculties going, what have I done?" Right?
Yeah. So he goes, "There's a picture and it's of Michael and he, I guess you talked to Michael about it, went, what the heck? My daughter, she wasn't here, and it was Caleb and all his friends, and they had gotten a pair of my daughter's underwear, and Michael was modeling women's underwear."
You'd have to know Michael to understand that was semi-normal behavior for Michael.
No, that's completely 100% facts, because I'm sitting here like, well, yeah, that's Mike.
That's Mike.
That's Michael Mixon right there.
He was like, "I just wanted to," Rob was
he's
like,
got zero shame in his game, I promise you.
And he was like, Rob was just like, "I just wanted to let you know that, and you can handle it the way you."
I mean, a man sees another boy and his daughter's, I don't know. So,
yeah, but Michael could play. You're right. I mean, he could hit too on defense.
He did not care who it was.
Yeah, but anyway, guys, enjoyed it. Sooner fans, thanks for listening, and we'll see y'all next time. Boomer Rob,
Boomer Terry,
and Boomer Derek.
Boomer Sooner.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. If you want to be on the podcast and talk Sooner football with us, go to www.soonerfootballfans.com, click on the How to Be on the Podcast tab, fill out the form, and we'll get you on. Boomer.